Okay, so this should be quite interesting. Uh, the dogs are being very rambunctious. It's as you can tell, it's a little early in the morning since the sun is barely coming out. But here we are. Luna, no, no kisses, Baloo. Baloo and Pepper. Ow! Oh, he's on a chunk. He weighs 70 pounds, and boy, when he lands on you, you feel it because he's so dense. Luna's 80 pounds, but she's gentle and she's more spread out. Baloo's just a chunk. You are a chunk. Yes. I think you're made of titanium or lead or something. Hmm. Well, I hope you have something to start your day with. There's having some coffee here to get my morning started. And we'll talk a little bit as the sun slowly starts to come up. Sun sets in about another 15 minutes, but it is first light. It's got a little bit of sunlight out here. Enough for the puppy dogs to think things are time to rock and roll. Hmm. Okay, so there's two things I want to talk about this weekend, and I've been trying to talk a little bit about these things as though they were children in artificial intelligence. Because as a parent who raised kids, it's kind of interesting to watch these as children who are starting to learn and get educated. We had a demonstration of OpenAI integrated in with a robot. So the robot was stationary and it had arms, and it, what it had was it had some uh, it was standing in front of a gentleman, and the gentleman says to it, "Hey, robot, can you describe what you see?" And it says to you, "Well, I see you, and I see an apple, and I see some cups, and a plate, and a rack with some dishes." And he says, "I'm hungry. Can you help me out? Give me something for the hunger?" Said, "Sure." And he picked up the apple and gave it to him. And he said to it, "Why did you do that?" "Well, of the things I had on my that I could help you with, the apple I knew was edible, edible." Oh, I almost got it. I almost got the ball. Luna snatched it away at the last minute. Ah, such is life. So, anyways, we had um, it reminded me of a child around 3 or 4 years of age. And around 3 or 4 years of age, and all children are different. Some advance very quickly, some advance very slowly. But you that would have been an exercise you could have done with a child. Oh, and he had him pick up something and put the dishes away. So he if the robots are getting to the age of 3 or 4, The question is what, how fast they will develop. Now, when you get to 3 or 4, one of the key things about education is you can start to learn without your parents. There's not a, you can learn a little bit faster through a desire by the kids to grow up to it. They want to explore and want to do certain things, but they also don't want to upset their parents. So you get this mode of what are my boundaries? What can I do? And that's one of the things that there's a lot of questions about where our boundaries will get established with AI. In our society, we set the boundaries for a 3 or 4 years old kid with their parents and their siblings. Those are the people that set their boundaries. So in this case, where we have an AI, its parents are called programmers. Ooh, programmers aren't known as being uh, social good teachers and stuff like that, which is true. So it's going to be interesting to see how uh, the coupling of the intelligence with the body, how things work out. Because in some ways, that 4-year-old response to the world around it was behind the scenes uh, ChatGPT, uh, probably 4 or 4.5. And that 4 or 4.5 is also able to do very complex uh, word discussions with humans. So even though you had a 3 or 4 year old when it came to how the robot was acting or responding, it has a brain of back knowledge that is significantly higher than that. That's where it's a little different from how we raise our human children nowadays. We raise them kind of in parallel. Their bodies, uh, their association with their world around them, and their knowledge of the world are coupled and very uh, uh, I was trying to think of a word and then I stopped because I was thinking of movies where this is where there has been minds like this. And see, even movies like Frankenstein, I think there's a new one out. I haven't seen it called Poor Thing. And there's others where they said there's the brain is not as developed as the body. That's not the same thing because this is more like a half brain. The brain that's understanding the world is not as developed as the brain that understands art, literature, science. Huh. I can't think of any. Sorry. I know I stumbled when I was talking, but it distracted me because I thought I could think of one. Uh, but the truth is, when we've approached the world, we've always done it that same way. This is something very uncharted, very unique. It's almost Well, I guess it's like learning something new, like to ride a bike or drive a car. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Because even those things, riding a bike, there's a lot of physics to it and a lot of, seeing other people, and we learn to run. There's a lot of things that have developed long before we start that process. But I'll I'll think about it. Let's think about it, Baloo. So I'm going to leave it with that because well, let me say one more thing. So a lot of people will get stirred up about the robot because they're like, this is where we're going to lose all the jobs. You know, it's going to take a while. Yes, eventually a lot of jobs will be lost to robots, but like I said earlier, I'm hoping that that has a lot to do with how things go. Yeah, gosh, there's so much I could talk about, and I've already spent so much time with you guys about the robot. Oh, let me just talk briefly about Claude, and then tomorrow I'm going to talk about consumption, uh, consumption, and buying things, and how our world is set up around that, and how that changes with uh, workers who don't consume. Okay, so I also got Claude. I bought Claude Opus, which is the higher end Claude, and I've been using it, and I am pleased. Ow, ow. I have tried to use Google Gemini, and I've always gone back to OpenAI. But I'll tell you what, Claude, it's different, but it's good. I oftentimes totally ignored what Gemini was telling me when I asked it questions. And Claude, I sometimes use its answers and I sometimes use OpenAI's answers. It's been one of those things. So Claude, it did a good job. And I'm hoping everybody will get out there and use Claude as well because I really like the idea of having at least two uh, chatbots that I can go talk to, and we can always have a wonderful world together. So, um, robots, new AIs from different companies, huzzah! Wonderful times we're living in. Tomorrow, though, I want to talk a little bit about economics. I'll try and not to get too distracted. I get distracted because I there's so much changing, but the economics is really important. So I'll try and do that tomorrow. Anyways, as you can see, the puppy dogs are enjoying themselves, and it's time to you to get up and play with Pepper. You need to get play with Pepper, Baloo. Baloo, you see that dog? Pepper? Pepper needs to be played with. All right, we will talk to you guys later. Bye for now.